Good morning, I'm Dr. Farzaneh Haratian, a psychologist in supervised practice at CPBAO under the expert supervision of Dr. Wendy Ledoux and Dr. Bahirai. And today I'm going to have the 10th talk on the importance of ethics for psychologists. I need to start by saying that the journey from ethical knowledge to ethical action is neither automatic nor straightforward. It is fraught with ambiguity, emotional pressure, and conflicting values. In the opening pages of Practical Ethics for Psychologists, a Positive Approach, Knapp et al. 2023 pose a question that haunts every conscientious practitioner. Why do good psychologists sometimes make bad ethical decisions? This question is particularly urgent for psychologists practicing in Ontario, where the regulatory landscape has shifted dramatically with the proclamation of the Psychology and Applied Behavior Analyst Act 2021 and the subsequent introduction of the CPBAO Standards of Professional Conduct 2024. For decades, ethics education in psychology has emphasized rule following, risk avoidance, and the prevention of disciplinary action. This approach, often termed risk management or negative ethics, it has produced competent technicians of compliance but may have neglected the development of ethical character. Barnett 2019 articulates this concept directly. Ethical practice is often presented as a series of rules to follow and pitfalls to avoid, which can lead clinicians to approach ethics with anxiety and defensiveness rather than with confidence and aspiration. Thus, there is a critical gap between merely avoiding complaints and genuinely cultivating ethical excellence. The central focus here today is that ethical competence in psychology is not a static achievement, but a dynamic, lifelong process of integration. Knapp et al. 2023 note, ethical excellence is attainable when psychologists actively engage with ethical principles in their everyday work. The purpose of today's talk is twofold. First, it synthesizes the core ethical frameworks presented in the required readings of a comprehensive ethics training program for supervised practice restraints in Ontario. Second, it bridges the gap between knowledge and action. It introduces the Ethical Competence Integration Model, ECIM, a novel framework that integrates positive ethics, structured decision-making, regulatory literacy, and reflective self-awareness into a coherent model of professional formation. About the limitation of risk management, I shall say, traditional approaches to professional ethics in psychology have been heavily influenced by legal and regulatory consents. Psychologists are taught to document thoroughly, avoid dual relationships, obtain informed consent, and maintain confidentiality. These are all essential baseline practices. However, Knapp et al. 2023 argue that a purely risk management approach has significant limitations. Risk management focuses on avoiding trouble. They explain, but it does not necessarily inspire psychologists to provide the highest quality of care. A practitioner could follow all the rules yet still provide mediocre or even harmful services. This is a crucial insight. Compliance with minimum standards does not guarantee excellence. A psychologist who obtains a signed consent form but fails to ensure genuine understanding has fulfilled the letter of the law but violated the spirit of ethical practice. Similarly, a psychologist who avoids all dual relationships but remains emotionally distant and unempathic has not violated a specific standard but has failed to provide beneficent care. Handelsman et al. 2018 extend this critique by examining the cognitive and emotional processes that influence ethical decision-making. Handelsman et al. 2018 extend this critique by examining the cognitive and emotional processes that influence ethical decision making. Ethical decision making is influenced by both cognitive and emotional processes, such that personal biases, values, and prior experiences can shape how psychologists perceive and respond to ethical challenges. This means that even well intentioned psychologists can make errors when they are unaware of their own biases or emotional reactions. Risk management alone cannot correct for these blind spots. Therefore, self awareness and reflective practice are required. In response to the limitations of risk management, Knapp et al. 2023 advocate for a positive ethics approach. Positive ethics encourages psychologists to aspire to the highest standards of care, focusing on how they can promote client welfare and enhance the quality of their services rather than merely avoiding complaints. Positive ethics shifts the focus from avoiding harm, non-maleficence, to actively promoting good, beneficence. It asks not only what must I avoid, but also what more can I do? And what would excellent care look like in this situation? Barnett 2019 explicitly endorses this aspirational stance, stating the ethical practice of psychotherapy is clearly within our reach when clinicians actively engage with ethical principles in their everyday work, striving for excellence rather than merely seeking to avoid disciplinary action. If we consider dimension, positive ethics, and risk management, I should say that the primary focus for positive ethics is client well-being and excellence, while in risk management approach, it's avoiding liability and complaints. The orientation in positive ethics is proactive and aspirational, while it is defensive and reactive in risk management. About outcome goal, in positive ethics, it's all about highest standard of care, while in risk management approach, it is minimum standard of compliance. And in regulatory relationship, in positive ethics, it's guided by values and principles, while in risk management, it is guided by rules and prohibitions. In emotional tone, for positive ethics, it comes with confidence and engagement, while in risk management, it comes with anxiety and avoidance. Like, what would excellence care require? This is for positive ethics, and on the other hand, for risk management, we have, will this get me sued? The necessity of integration. However, positive ethics does not replace risk management, it transcends and includes it. Knapp et al. 2023 are careful. Knapp et al. 2023, they are careful to note that compliance remains essential. Risk management strategies, including documentation, consultation, and adherence to professional standards, remain essential for protecting clients and ensuring accountability. The goal is not to abandon risk management, but to embed it within a larger framework of positive ethics. Thus, the ethically competent psychologist must be both a rule follower and a virtue seeker. The challenge is to hold these orientations together without allowing either to dominate. The ECIM introduced in section is designed precisely to facilitate this integration.